It's a pleasant morning, and of course, the 11th day in the month of April. Good to see you on this particular platform, looking at me as I do look back at you. It's This Week in Focus, and of course, we are on Top Star Channel 121. Not forgetting on Facebook, YouTube, that's Light Space TV, Space Zambia. Every Saturday, we do get to engage in some of the top happening stories and some that have made it on our news desk. This is a swell and exciting package that has been lined up for you. Let's look at some of the stories that have made it this particular week, the headlines this particular day. Bishops push for respectful burial of late President Lungu. Man visits moon. Pompey crocs it large. Police gunned down 5 suspects in Chiwolia after compound attack. And cholera cases rise to 16 in Zambia. Let's go for a break. When we do get back, we'll be seeing what the details look like this morning. To present today's edition, my name's Yesani Jose. You could be having yourself a cup of tea, or maybe just some groundnuts, or maybe just some cornflakes, starting off your particular day. One of the stories that have really made it on top, rounding up in Zambia, is of Pompey. Now, Pompey is a Zambian gospel musician that has been, around for a very long time. And of course, he's done plenty of songs like Mulungu Samagona, He is a person that is of influence when he does come to the music industry. And of course, apparently, he went to the Livingston Crocodile Park, just to, as a local individual, just to go and see these reptiles, these crocodiles. Apparently, he was at that particular location at exactly 1640 hours, and he was not allowed admission into the premises because they said he was late. So apparently the location states that you can, the opening time is 8 to 17. And so he had it in mind that when I reach there 1640, I would definitely have almost 20 minutes, and then, me and my family can just go and do other things. But apparently he was sent back. So much dismay he had, went on social media, expressed, his feelings about that. And so now that caught attention of the Consumer and Competition Protection Commission that instituted investigations in the case of the celebrated superstar Pompey, where the family was turned away. Now, the update from that one is that social media has been flooded with people using it as a marketing tool to say, well, when you come to our premises at 1640, we won't attend to you. Others have taken it large and said, well, 1640, come, we'll still continue as we go 24/7. Remember that the country is also going on a 24/7 economy boost. So, there's all this to and from, two-sided coins. Now, the update is that the premises at the Crocs location have updated a post on their reception. Initially, it said from 8 hours to 17 hours, right? That's the time of operation. So the reception now states open Thursdays to Tuesdays from 8 to 17. And then they've put something that will definitely square out on the, the 1640, dilemma. They're saying last entry 16 hours. So, Pompey, now, if you want to see those crocodiles, it's clear. 16 hours is the last time. If you go there 1640, it's not. Okay? So, in marketing and in advertising, let's ensure that we make things clear. So, for instance, if you are selling chicken and then you say that get a chicken at 10 kwacha, you forget to put a piece, me, I'll come for the chicken. Yeah, so that's the main story that has been trending all around town. Let's go to some of the stories that have made it on the news this particular morning. Now, police in Ndola have arrested a 23-year-old taxi driver, Gregory Zulu, at Pamozi compound, Ndola, for assaulting a police officer. On the 7th of April 2026, around 13 hours, Sergeant Charles Mandefu and other traffic officers were on routine patrol along Kalewa Road, where they found a Honda Fit registration number BBE 943944 parked in the middle of the road, obstructing traffic. The officers approached the driver, who had a female passenger on board, and charged him with obstruction of the roadway, an impoundable offense under the section 118 of the Road and Roads Traffic Act number 11 of 2022. Sergeant Mandefu then boarded the vehicle and instructed the driver to proceed to the police station. The elderly passenger requested to be dropped off at Kamwala Township first, with which the officer allowed. After the passenger exited the vehicle, the driver refused to proceed to the police station and assaulted Sergeant Mandefu. Investigations were conducted and the suspect was later apprehended. The suspect is currently in custody awaiting his court appearance. Archbishop Zuze receives care. The government says President Hakainde Hichilema is concerned about the health of Archbishop Telepore Mpundu, who has been admitted at Mainasoko Military Hospital for about 2 weeks. Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Tabo Kawana says the president has since sent Vice President Mutale Nalumango to visit Archbishop and check on his condition. He says the Vice President also visited retired Lieutenant General Peter Zuze, who is also receiving treatment at the same facility. Mr. Kawana adds that the Vice President conveyed the President's warm regards and wished for a speedy recovery to both patients.
The President is concerned about the admission into hospital of the retired Lusaka Archbishop Teres Mpundu. As you may be aware, he is not feeling too well, and he has been in hospital the last almost 2 weeks. The President has since sent Her Honor the Vice President to come through and visit the Archbishop, and she has been here, and that is why we are here. She has visited the Archbishop. She has also been asked to visit General Peter Zuze, who also is here. And I'm happy to report that both patients, the Archbishop Teres Mpundu and General Peter Zuze, are responding very well and positively to medication. It is also important to state that their families and the church have asked for privacy, and that is why we didn't allow any cameras inside to escort Her Honor the Vice President, because we needed to respect the aspect of privacy. So we are happy to note that the patients are doing well. The President has wished them well. He has sent his warm regards to them and wished them a speedy recovery through Her Honor the Vice President, who has just visited the two patients.
If you are watching us on Topstar Channel 121, we'd like to say welcome to this particular edition. We are just taking you through what we call This Week in Focus, some of the stories that really do make it on our news desk. Government commissions Lui electricity extension. Energy Minister Makozo Sikote says government is scaling up rural electrification as part of its efforts to improve living standards and promote inclusive development. Speaking during the commissioning of the Lui Grid Electricity Extension Project in Luampa District, Western Province, the minister says government is moving to higher levels of development through phased infrastructural expansion. He explains that the program began with water projects in early phases and has now advanced to electricity connectivity in rural communities. Mr. Chikote says rural electrification has grown from 8% access in previous years, with ongoing projects extending power to more areas across the country. He adds that government policies are aimed at ensuring equitable development through rural communities also benefit from essential services such as electricity. The minister has urged young people to take advantage of the new infrastructure to improve their livelihood and contribute to local economic growth.
Today, we are seeing the percentages moving, and that's what we wanted as a nation. It's not only here in Lui, but across the nation. Rural areas are being connected so that also you can take advantage of this service and change your livelihood style. This is not just for, charging phones. This power we are distributing in rural areas is not for charging phones, but to make your life become better. People now should use their heads. People now have to take this opportunity to change your livelihood style. The youths, this is your time. Ria has connected you. What remains is you now to take opportunity and improve your livelihood style. I hope the youth of Lui, you have heard what I've said. Ladies and gentlemen, today is another day that what we have been saying, it has now come to pass.
The Ministry of Finance and National Planning says it released 22 billion kwacha in March 2026 to support public service delivery and implement priorities outlined in the national budget. According to a statement from the Office of the Secretary to the Treasury, 6.6 million kwacha was allocated. The Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company says rehabilitation works at University of Zambia, Yunza, are being executed in phases, with priority placed at student hostels. This follows the disbursement of 23 million kwacha by government to address the sanitation challenges at the higher institution. Lusaka Water and Supply Company Manager for Infrastructure Planning and Design, Muyaluka Kabisa, said the utility has identified the root cause of the sanitation problems at Yunza. It is, as such, placing old infrastructure with upgraded systems like increased pipe capacity from 200 millimeters to 400 millimeters to improve the sewer flow. We definitely hope that this could put an end to such a crisis that, at a big institution like that should not be an occurrence. We duly hope that, management, current and in future, can really take priority sanitation and water to be a pedestal when it does come to operations of a facility. If those things are not checked or those things are not operational, please, let's find a way that we can actually just close and come back when that is sorted out, because a lot of health hazard there is present, and just so many things can happen that could endanger the lives of the students and people that visit that particular facility. Now, the Office of the Vice President has engaged civil society organizations on the proposed Resettlement Management Bill 2026, aimed at strengthening the legal framework governing displacement, compensation, and livelihood restoration. Speaking in Lusaka, Office of the Vice President, Director of Settlement, Kopa Chibomba, says Zambia currently lacks a unified law on displacement, with existing provisions spread across several pieces of the legislation, leading to weak coordination and inconsistent compensation practices. He says the new bill seeks to establish a single clear framework covering valuation, mandatory compensation before relocation, and improved grievance mechanisms for affected communities. Mr. Chibomba adds that the proposed law will strengthen accountability and ensure resettlement processes uphold human resettlement processes of dignity and constitutional rights. Civil society organizations have since welcomed the consultation process, calling for a stronger people-centered law that will protect vulnerable groups and ensure fair development outcomes. Zambia and Egypt strengthen ties on the environmental protection and sustainable development right here in Lusaka. Now, Zambia and Egypt have renewed their commitment to strengthening bilateral cooperation in environmental protection and sustainable development following the high-level meeting between Minister of Green Economy and Environment, Honorable Mike Elton Posha, and Egyptian Ambassador to Zambia, Her Excellence Ms. Nyada Assam. The courtesy call held at the ministry headquarters in Lusaka focused on emphasizing collaboration in water resource management, environmental protection, and the responsible development of the petroleum sector. Speaking during the meeting, Honorable Mposha welcomed growing interest from Egyptian institutions in supporting African countries to strengthening environmental safeguards in the petroleum-related activities. He emphasized the need to ensure that energy development protects natural resources, particularly water bodies. The minister noted that Zambia is richly empowered with freshwater resources, including rivers, lakes, and wetlands, which are vital for agriculture, energy production, biodiversity, and livelihoods. He stressed that safeguarding these ecosystems remains a national priority. He also highlighted risk associated with petroleum operations such as oil spills and industrial pollution, which can have long-term effects on water quality, ecosystems, and health to the public if not properly managed. He reaffirmed that government is strengthening regulatory frameworks and enhancing monitoring and enforcement mechanisms. Bishop Council of Zambia has requested government to allow Vice President Bishop Agnes Kaposa to travel to South Africa to engage the family of the late former President Edgar Lungu over the repatriation and burial of his body. Council Deputy Secretary General Reverend Charles Piri says there is urgent need to resolve the matter before the general elections, urging government to permit the mediation process in order to bring closure to the nation. Reverend Piri adds that the council has already engaged members of the former president's family and now seeks dialogue with the former First Lady in South Africa to reach a common ground. Meanwhile, Bishop Agnes Kaposa says she is ready to provide counseling to one on a one-on-one basis, stressing that the council is not passing judgment but seek national reconciliation and peace.
To every Zambian today, I call upon all churches, traditional leaders, and the government of the Republic of Zambia to work together in fostering peace, love, and stability in our beloved nation. Let us move beyond more words. The famous slogan, "One Zambia, one nation," must not remain theoretical. Let us walk it daily in our actions, our policies, and our relationships. And as we walk that noble path, let us also embrace the Bishop's Council honorary call together as one. To every civil society group, I say this: join us under this same banner. Together as one, we can achieve what none of us can alone. Let us remember a fundamental truth: the church, government, and traditional leaders will ever remain. Political parties will not. Political parties come and go. But these three measures that I've just stated, government, church, and traditional leaders will always remain. No wonder the emphasis on coexistence is so urgently needed. We are the permanent pillars of Zambia society. Parties come and go with election cycles. Therefore, let us build on what endures: respect, dialogue, and share love for our nation.
Another story that is really tweaking and causing goosebumps is one from Chiwolia, where Chiwolia shooting has claimed 5. 5 suspects have been shot dead in Chiwolia compound following a violent confrontation with police officers responding to an earlier attack in Kalikiliki compound. Police Public Relations Officer Godfrey Chilabi says the incident occurred on April the 9th, 2026, after officers received information about suspected criminals armed with offensive weapons, including pangas, operating in Kalikiliki. He says police apprehended 2 suspects while 2 others escaped, but the situation escalated when police officers were later attacked by accomplices during the escort of the arrested suspects. During the attack, Inspector Mwenda sustained a fractured leg, while a community crime prevention unit officer sustained minor injuries. Mr. Chilabi adds that police later received intelligence that the suspects had regrouped in Chiwolia, prompting a joint operation where officers were again confronted by armed individuals. He says officers discharged firearms in self-defense, resulting in the death of 5 suspects who were pronounced dead upon arrival at the University Teaching Hospital. Investigations into the matter have since been instituted.
Yeah. Is that everyone?
Yes, this is everyone. Then now from there, other braking implements. You can see this. Covered this from suspects. And they have also advanced in technology. I'm sure everyone will see this gadget. Right? They use these all sorts of breakings, everything. Knives. We also have hammer, depending what is happening. So for this, it depends on portability. If it's a knife, quite okay, they will hide this, as well as an axe. Something is portable, so they will hide this. We've also made
Around 10 hours yesterday, Kalikiliki Police Post received information from a member of the public that 4 suspected criminals identified as Joseph Zulu, alias Z Commander, that's a nickname, it was commonly known as Z Commander, and another one, Joseph Lupo, alias J Code. And 2 other unidentified individuals were in Kalikiliki compound. The suspects were armed with various offensive weapons, including pangas. So upon receiving that hint as police, a team of police officers led by Inspector Mwenda, comprising 3 officers and 3 community crime prevention unit officers or neighborhood watch members, was dispatched to the area here in Kalikiliki. The team managed to apprehend 2 suspects and recovered some machetes. Some of the recoveries are the ones that we've just showcased here, while the 2 suspects fled. So while escorting the apprehended suspects, the officers were attacked by their accomplices armed with offensive weapons, leading to the escape of the apprehended suspects. During the attack, Inspector Mwenda sustained a fractured leg, while 1 CCPU sustained minor injuries. Later the same day, we received intelligence from our sources that the suspects that fled and rescued their colleague here in Kalikiliki were seen regrouping themselves in Chiworia compound. A joint team of our anti-robbery squad, commonly known as C5, and officers from Tendere Police Station were deployed following up this incident. So upon arrival, the officers were confronted by the suspects, who were armed with pangas, iron bars, and other weapons. I'm sure you've seen some of the weapons that we've recovered here. Thereafter, the suspects charged at the officers and attracted hostile crowd that began throwing stones on the officers. So to restore order and effect lawful arrests, officers discharged firearms in accordance with Section 24 of the Zambia Police Act. So our officers acted within the provisions of the law. Zambia Police Act Section 24, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. That's Zambia Police Act. So 5 suspected criminals were fatally wounded and were pronounced dead upon arrival at the University Teaching Hospital.
The Zambia National Public Health Institute says cholera cases have recorded an increase with 16 new infections reported in the latest daily update up from the previous reporting period. The outbreak, which was declared on the 5th of August 2025, has now accumulated 1,485 cases with 23 confirmed deaths and a case of fatality rate of 1.5%. Authorities say 1,437 patients have been discharged, while 25 remain under admission across affected districts. Most of the new infections have been recorded in Lusaka, with 15 cases, in Pulungu, with 1 case, while current admissions are mainly concentrated in the Lusaka, Chiwombo, and Mpulungu. The Zambia National Public Health Institute says surveillance and response measures have been instituted as efforts continue to contain the outbreak. We should be mindful that we are in a period where this, cholera looks like a very small thing, but very big. A lot of lives could be lost. And so ensure that cleanliness is next to godliness. In everything that we do, our surroundings should be clean. We should ensure that we have garbage disposal, in the right place at the right time to ensure that, effective cleansing of our areas of residence, workplaces. It starts with you, your pockets. Make sure that those to my sweets, to my papers are out. Ensure that is cleared, and basically when it starts from you, it will go out into the rest of the world. And basically we shouldn't be talking about cholera this time around. Drainage systems, ensure that they are clear in the areas that you do get residing. We did see such a case at the Presbyterian Church right there in Rhodes Park, where people just came together as a church to clean up the environment and said, well, let's ensure that the surroundings that we do live in are cleansed, are clear. And we did see a lot of members from the Presbyterian Church there, just coming together and ensuring that the task at hand was made 100% accomplished. And that is what we need to do. Churches, banks, shops, families, we should just say, hey, let's make Zambia a clean and green and prosperous nation. In international news, Colombian President Gustavo Petro has called for the imposition of international sanctions against Israel and other parties if they fail to respect a recently announced ceasefire involving the United States and Iran. In a statement posted on the social media platform X, Petro urged Israel Prime Minister Benjamin and former US President Donald Trump to fully adhere to the ceasefire agreement and ensure the protection of civilian population in the region. He warned that any violation of the pact should attract strong response from the international community, stressing that respect of the agreement is critical to the sustainability of global peace. Pedro further said that the entire world must impose sanctions if the agreed upon pact is disobeyed, adding that the stakes involve the life of humility. The remarks come amidst reports of a continued military activity in the southern Lebanon despite the announced ceasefire, with concerns rising over rising casualties and escalating tensions in the region. We can continue praying for that particular region as they go through this very trying time. The Artemis II crew successfully splashed down in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego after the historic 10-day journey across the moon. The crew, consisting of NASA astronauts, are definitely back on Earth. And of course, I don't love to travel. Going to even, away from Lusaka, for me is a little bit tedious. But going away from the planet is not something that I would dream of. Going to the moon, coming back, that's another problem. So let's try to see just what that looks like, going out there in space and coming back. How does that particularly scene look like?
Integrity, impact to the camera controller fail is no Cab 1 views of the chutes.
Integrity.
We're processing good data through the GPS system. A good view of Integrity, time to splash down 4.5 minutes. And a view of Integrity from the WB-57. We're at 50,000 feet. The pyros are armed for forward bay cover jettison. And there go the first series of parachutes, and we're on drogues.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
2 good drogue shoots. Next up,
We copy. We see them.
Next up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Perfect descent rate according to flight dynamics.
Good rates on 2 drogues.
We see the same on board.
Passing through 10,000 feet, still on drogues. Main chute deploy. We're at 5,000 feet. Search and recovery beacon has been activated on Integrity. And we have 3 good main chutes. Good 3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
Good rates, and we see 3 good-looking parachutes. Integrity. Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Integrity copies.
This is a perfect descent for Integrity. Its crew sounding hale and hearty on board. Time to splash down 1 minute, 15 seconds. Integrity about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon. Passing through 1,000 feet.
Houston Integrity, splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown, waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon, a new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth. And the landing and support officer reports the vehicle is stable 1. We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
What an amazing splendor that we do get to witness in the year 2026. The last time I saw something like this, it was, way back in Zambia, where there was a Zambian man who said he could travel to the moon or probably travel to space. And then he got a team and they were training, and then he put them on a Camperwa. I don't know what the Camperwa was supposed to do, like a Suizo. They were supposed to go to the moon with a Camperwa, and it never worked out. But anyway, so many people did have all these dreams of going to the moon and doing the rest. So what you saw right there is referred to as the Orion spacecraft. And of course, on board on that particular spacecraft was astronauts. A lot of people have said that I want to become an astronaut. That's what it means. It means you have to go into such a ship and you live. And you leave us here on Earth where there is light TV, there is nice food. You go that side where you don't know. So on that particular spacecraft, we did have on board Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen. They returned safely after the ferry through the Earth's atmosphere. And you can just see that after 50 years, this has been the attempt that has been fruitful and successful, where they've gone and come back. So after 50 years, it's a milestone for a lot of people that love to do a lot of traveling. This is basically one of the trips that you should take. As we do get going away to the last story, the last but not the least, a sports story. We would like to say thank you for still being with us right here on what we call This Week in Focus. Now, FA's acting Deputy General Secretary, Iva Lengwe, says Coach Nara has proposed amendments to her current contract, leading to drawn-out negotiations that have ruled her out of the Brazil assignment. He regrets to announce that Coach Nara will not lead the Copa Queens in Brazil as a result of the ongoing renegotiations for amendments for her current contract, Lengwe has said. Coach Nara will be traveling to Lusaka in the next few days to ensure that all the outstanding issues are resolved in the professional manner. We had all made the necessary travel logistics for the coach, Nara, to be in Brazil, but unfortunately, she could not make it, owing to her desire to secure amendments to her current contract, he explained. Lengwe adds that assistant coach Charles Haluwono will take charge of Brazil's assignment and will receive full support. Meanwhile, Lengwe has wished the Copa Queens all the best as they commence their FIFA series assignment this particular day on a Saturday. So that is the highlight of this particular day at exactly 21 hours cut time. Brazil, it's going to be the venue where Canada will face Zambia as we do get seeing the FIFA Women World Cup Series take underway. So if you are a lover of the She Polo, let's get to support them. Today has been an exciting package. You know, the only time I do go to space is when Anthony Edward Okasong vimics me from this particular studio. But from that particular point, I am always here on this particular desk. Let's take a look at some of the stories that have made it on our news this particular morning. Bishops push for respectful burial of late President Lungu. Man visits moon. Pompey crocs it large. Police gun down 5 suspects in Chiwolia after compound attack. Corolla cases rise to 16 in Zambia. That does get putting my pen down on the table and wraps up our edition of This Week in Focus. I've been your caster on this particular day. My name's Ayesani Jose, and to another edition. Pleasant listening, pleasant watching, and enjoy viewing Light TV. Of the week's interesting stories, bringing you up to speed with latest happenings. Of the week's interesting stories, bringing you up to speed with latest happenings.